Hello, hello. So welcome back to my couch that is never sat on except for times like this. So today in this little episode, I wanted to quickly have a chat with parents who have teens. So I often get calls from parents who are really confused and unsure about connecting with their teens. They may have difficulties connecting with their teens. They feel their teens are quite distant and not too sure how to break through that barrier. There's a lot of conflict, a lot of confusion, a lot of emotion, a lot going on, and this is completely understandable. So when we're in our teens, we're still developing our prefrontal cortex. So basically, this goes offline to develop, essentially. So this is where we have our the language center of our brain. It's where we consider consequences. It's where we consider other people's perspectives. It's where we can really think analytically about anything in our world. So it can be termed the analytical part of our brain as well. So when we're a teen, this really goes offline. So, and then what that means is we revert back to our limbic system, which is the emotion center of our brain. So you may often wonder why on earth your teen has gone back to the terrible two stage or something of that nature. And this is the reason why, because it's essentially the same. So teens are acting from this really emotionally driven part of their brain. So everything in their world will be extreme, okay? And I know you've seen this. If you've got teens, if you've been a teenager, of course, you understand that feeling. So how can we get past this then? I think from a lot of the parents that I've coached and that I've helped, the main blockage is that because they can verbalize themselves, they can be quite articulate at times, we all of a sudden believe that they should be able to do and think and be this creature that can analyze correctly, consider everybody's perspectives, consider your perspective as the parent, consider the consequences that have been brought in previously and why aren't they thinking about that now. So we really have these expectations that they're nearly an adult, so they really should just get everything. But we really need to remember that we've got this key developmental phase physiologically going on in their brain, and this just isn't possible for them. So what we need to do with our teens is if there's anything crazy going on in their world, often it's heightened and it can be a little bit hard to believe, I guess. We believe that they're being quite ridiculous at times. However, we need to realize that this is very real for them. Okay? So the best thing that you can do for your teen is to simply acknowledge the emotion. Listen and acknowledge the emotion. That is the best thing that you can do for your teen during these really, really emotional times. So you acknowledge the emotion, you listen to them, and you avoid going into problem-solving mode. Avoid it. Don't go straight into problem-solving mode as you know you really want to, as their parent, as somebody who cares for them, as somebody that might be getting a little frustrated that they just can't figure it out themselves. So that's the number one key when it comes to teens. So forget the fact that they're not considering consequences and everybody's perspective, and simply acknowledge the emotion that they're feeling and listen. Simply listen to what they're trying to tell you. They're trying to get their message out, and it's going to come across insanely crazy, possibly. And it might not make sense because it really is being driven by all of these emotions. So just listen for that deeper meaning and really allow them to feel like you understand these crazy emotions that are going on in their world. That's the key. So have a try of doing that and just start to notice if your teen starts to present differently to you or speak to you a little bit differently, or maybe they might be a little more open about discussing these crazy emotions that are going on for them. And I'd be interested to know if it does change for you. So definitely let me know in the comments, and I'd love to hear if this helps at all. But I think that's the key aspect that we often get a little bit confused with when it comes to our teens. So I hope this gives you a little bit of direction when it comes to these crazy times in your household.